Good morning. It is Sunday in August at some point, and we are in my garden. It's the first time I've felt well enough to get up out of the bed early while my new little baby is sleeping. And I'm just walking around my new garden barefoot. James did cut the grass yesterday, so I can see where I'm walking. And I'm just looking at all these amazing plants that have grown in this garden. So the previous owner, we just bought this house in March, and the previous owner made this garden out to be a pollinator garden, so for the bees and the butterflies and the birds. So this is the front garden, which is actually like a little forest area. So it's kind of overgrown, obviously it's overgrown, but the cycle of the spring plants is kind of ended, and I don't know how much more flowering we're going to get. The foxgloves seem to be the last things, and you can see them here, the long kind of dangly things. But it was covered in March when we first arrived, it was covered in daffodils, and then primroses, and then bluebells. Like she just seems to have let it all go to seed. So in the spring, it's just the most amazing place, and the trees are just stunning. And then this space here, these are all kind of raised beds. Now again, we're going to have to cut them down because they've kind of gone a bit wild. We decided to just leave everything just to see what was here, because we didn't know. There's just so much. So I'm just enjoying this last little flush of colour and flower before it heads into autumn, and then we're going to cut it all back and just leave it sit where it is to mulch properly. So yeah, and it'll use itself, you know, as the compost. There is some extra compost down in the compost bins at the bottom of the garden, which we might use, but I don't think we'll need to. There's been such an incredible growth this year that it'll probably feed itself. So yeah, so today, now, depending on how I feel and on how my little baby feels, I have 2 quilts to finish up. I just have the bindings to do. I have 2. I made the binding there one day. Actually, it took 2 days to make. She's been very, very fussy in the last couple of days because it's been so hot. We've had a heat wave here in Ireland and across the UK. So yeah, she's not been great now, like sleeping and leaving me do my business, which is totally fine. So we're just kind of doing a lot of cuddling and feeding and sympathizing, and in the bath and in the shower trying to cool off, and yeah. But it made me really want to, yesterday was super hot, so it made me really want to get out in the early morning and just breathe the fresh air. It gets so stifled and hot because it's incredibly humid here in Ireland. So 30 degrees feels like 40 degrees. But it's very rare that it gets to that stage. Do you know, another thing I just want to say, that so along the hedges here, this is the driveway. The gate is just down there. The whole property is about half an acre, and it's all garden. It's amazing. So this is the front section here, and just the way the light is hitting that, isn't that stunning? Yeah, so the garden, she's planted little different trees along the side, but they're all native Irish trees. So a lot of whitethorn, hawthorn, and rowan trees here. and they are traditionally known as protective trees on your boundary. Apparently they keep away the fairies, so they can be a bit dodgy, so you don't want to be... yeah, it's just like a little sign. Yeah, so today hopefully I want to finish off that binding. I would love to get those done. Actually, I'd really love to get those done because I have one more quilt to make, and I've got one. So I've got one more quilt to make, and I need to get it done by Saturday. So, but it's Sunday now, so I've got a week to make it. That's my mission now this week, just to make one quilt. Isn't that right, Jam? Oh, you want to see some cats? Hello, Jammy. Jam boy. Look at his little face. He is loving it. And you know, he's not cuddly, but he's happy. He's so happy. Look at him. Hello, Jam. You can't get too close to him because he gets scared, but that's just the type of cat he is. He's had a hard childhood. Now he's a jammy dodger. And then there's a toast. Or no, there's a peanut butter. Hello, Peanut. Just having a little rest. A little lie down. Hi, Peanut. Little tail. Listen to the bird sounds. It's just beautiful. So I moved on to quilt number 3, preparing it anyway, and I used a number of fat quarters, a set of 5 fat quarters from a shop from Hickey's, and then a set of maybe 7 or 8 from Sostra na Green. And so the only thing is that the Sostra na Green, which is what I'm cutting here, is actually a little bit shorter than the standard fat, is a little bit smaller than the standard fat quarter size. So what I did was I cut them into strips which were 4.5 inches wide, and I cut 2 of each colour, and so that's what's happening just here. I need a bigger cutting mat, honestly. really do. But I don't know where I'd store it, you see. I don't really want to have everything out all the time. Yeah, so these are all the different colors. So what I was doing was I was matching up all of the I got 2 of each, and I needed to sew them together end to end, so I'd have long strips. So that's what I was doing here, and I'm just going to press the seams open there now. I was pressing like side to side, but actually it didn't really matter. When I sewed them together and later, they all worked out. So this is me organizing all the colors, and I think I decided to go with an ombre. There you go. So here's the plan. I'm going to basically sew these all along the edge, all together, all in one big, excuse me, I'm doing a voiceover. And they'll all basically form one big piece of fabric. Then I'm going to press all the seams and actually sew the start and the end together so it forms a circle. And then I'm going to cut them all in, and it's gonna be like a step situation. You'll have to join in next week, I think, because I don't think I managed to do it this tonight. But I'm just gonna sew all these together, and it actually looks gorgeous just as it is, actually all sewn together. And that's my mum's old machine. It's a Janome, a million years old. It's amazing. It's rock hard. It's amazing. I'm actually looking for a new machine. If anyone has any recommendations for a sewing machine which can take a bit of quilting and it'll take a little bit of battering, I'd really appreciate any suggestions in the comments below. Thank you. So it is, what time is it? 8:30, and it has finally cracked. The heat, if you can hear it, that's rain outside. Yes. It's been thundering now non-stop for about an hour, like in the distance, and then the rain finally has started now, so. Oh, I gotta show you. The smell of the garden is just amazing. So I'm going to leave you with that. Herself, himself, and myself. Bye bye from the House of Babbles.